If you're from a working class family, meaning you have a job, you pay your taxes, pay your bills, and hopefully you have something to stash away for retirement, there is no possible way the past 2 years has been good for you. In my personal finances, the past 2 years has been almost catastrophic. It has taken the dream that I've worked for the past 20 years, and currently that dream looks almost unattainable. Now I'm going to go through the things that I've seen happen and tell you a little bit about my own financial situation and how I think I've gotten there through this past 2 years. And basically, I'm asking for help. If you have any financial advice or recommendations that you could give me, then I'd appreciate it. Okay, so let's begin. When the new administration came in, first thing they did was close the Keystone Pipeline. Now, it actually, in my opinion, is not stopping the Keystone Pipeline, but it's the message that it sent to all the oil companies across the world. And also, I don't know if it was on day 2, day 3 maybe, but the administration also reenacted all the environmental policies back onto the oil companies. Now, that sent a very strong signal to all of those that the future is not in oil, that this administration is not looking to advance any research in that field, and they damn sure are going to punish any type of expansion that the oil companies wanted to do. So immediately, the oil companies started looking at their refineries. Now, the problem we have, and we have today, is we have less refineries operating in the United States than we did, say, probably back in the 80s. And what this has done, we don't have an oil problem, we have a refining problem, meaning that we can't refine enough oil into gas to meet the demands that we have today. And that's only going to get worse because there's more refineries set to close. So gas is not going to continue to go down, as Biden has been basically pumping our National Reserve in to keep the price sort of low now. We're going to run out of that reserve and the price is going to start going back up. Now, what this did, obviously raised gas prices, raised the fuel, food prices because of the shipping, the trucks getting to the markets and so forth. So prices started to rise on our food and stuff. Now you add into that the war that was happening, that started between Russia and Ukraine, and that obviously hurt us more because then we stopped importing any oil from Russia as well. So you add on to that the Biden administration, and obviously the Republicans too jumped on board with this, supporting Ukraine and sending all of the money over there and all the weapons and aid and so forth. To date, as of November 18th of 2022, the United States has sent them $68 billion in aid. Now, a lot of that was financial. Now, the United States doesn't just have $68 billion sitting in a bank to send them. So what do? We printed the money to send them. Now, when we obviously send that much cash out into the world, what happens with that? Inflation. So inflation comes into the picture now. So everything starts costing us more. And, again, that's the gas prices, that's the food prices, that's electric, gas, you name it, everything that we spend money on costs more. Now, for your average middle class person, like myself, and like so many millions of you out there, it hits us in the bank account. So, yes, we're spending more. But we're not making any more, are we? I know I did. I'm fortunate. I got a raise this past couple years, but it's not enough to cover the cost of inflation. So the past 2 years, I've made less money, not more money, less money. So let's look at the numbers here let's go to October of 2018 all the way up through 22. So in 2018, it was 2.5% inflation rate. 2019, 1.7% inflation rate. 2020, 1.2% inflation rate. Then we jump into the Biden administration's years, and it is 6.2%. And this year in October, it was 7.7%. Now, that is just their average. That does not kick in everything else. So the guesstimated, real inflation rate is upwards of 15%. So inflation rate, okay? Now what does an inflation rate, how do you get that under control? According to the feds, you raise interest rates. So we started raising the interest rates incrementally over the past couple of years. Now what has that done? That has killed the stock market. The stock market sees interest rates go up, the stock market goes down. And that is where it really killed me. So you get if you're lucky enough to have a 401k with your company like I am, you invest into that for your retirement. Now, because I was stupid in my 20s, I didn't do that. So when I sort of wizened up in my early 30s, I had to aggressively invest into my 401k to try to catch up for my 20s. So my investments were of a higher risk, which I did great on. I did fantastic on. So Biden comes in. Of course, I'm in an aggressive investment in my 401k, and all of this shit happens. So the article says the average 401k plan is down $34,000 or 25% in 2022. Now, for me, it hit me harder than that. I'm down about a third now. Now, I have since, taken my 401k and put it into a more conservative investment. So I hope I don't lose too much more of my money. But, my plan was when I hit my 20-year mark with my company, which was going to be in 3 years, I plan to retire. And that plan is not looking so good right now. Now we add in the killer for me. Okay. Inflation rates went up. Fed steps in and raises interest rates. Stock market obviously is feeling that, but also now the housing market, because with interest rates going up, anybody looking to buy a new house is going to be paying more of a down payment. They're going to be paying more in their monthly mortgage payments, so the demand for the houses go down. Now this was going to be I don't know what you'd call it, my security blanket, I guess you'd say, that when it comes time for me to retire, to sell my house, make a nice profit, have that in cash. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, if I cannot sell my house and make that profit, I can't retire. It's as simple as that. I'm got to have that money to sustain me until I get to my 59 and a half, where I can start withdrawing without penalty on my 401k, right? And this is the dilemma that I'm in right now. I'm thinking, okay, should I go ahead and sell the house before the housing market totally collapses and just live in an apartment for the next 3 years? Or should I gamble, keep the house, pray that the housing market doesn't crash, and I'll be able to sell it and make that profit? Because as I'm sitting right now, I think I can still sell the house and make the profit that I was banking on making. Now, we're not in, obviously California, is one of the worst hit. I believe New York is, and I'm hearing Florida is as well right now. I'm not sure on that. But the market we're in right now, houses are still selling, though they're not selling like they was when I bought this house last year. But then we come into something that I think is going to make it even worse. I don't know if y'all have listened to the national rail strike that may be happening December 9th. So we already have a supply chain issue, and if the rails unions decide to strike over everything they've been going through, that's midnight, December 9th is when that's going to be decided. If the railroads strike, then this country is going to come to a halt, and everything is going to skyrocket for supply and demand, obviously. It's just not looking good, and I don't see a silver lining in anything. If you've watched my videos, you know I hate any politician, Republican, Democrat, what have you. But I can definitely say that this administration has cost me a lot of fucking money. So if you have any advice, I've tried watching the financial channels, YouTube channels. It's all a gamble and it's all the unknowns. And it's keeping me up at night because, like I say, I've been working for this dream for a very long time. And I mean, I'm right there. And I don't know if I'm going to make it, A message tell me what you're doing. Tell me what steps you're taking to ensure your retirement and your financial stability. I'll take any advice you have to offer. Guys, I appreciate it. Talk to you on the next one. See ya.